Hey guys, thanks for joining me, and if you like what you see, please subscribe. Hey friends, welcome to Sharp Ends. I am going to do a knife collection review. So it has been about 6 months since I've done one of these, and it's been about a year since I started collecting knives seriously, and I thought it was time to do a review. These, I believe, are most of the knives that I have in my collection. I can think of a couple that are here and there in other places, but in general, this is the main collection. One of the reasons I'm doing this is because it's been a year. I want to take stock of what I have, how much money I've poured into this hobby, and I also want to start selling off. I have learned a lot, and there are a lot of things that I want to sell. Um, I'm going to keep collecting, but there are definitely things that I've realized I no longer need or enjoy as much as I did, and I'm hopeful that I can pass it on to someone who might enjoy them. So I'm going to go through this stuff in no particular order. I keep my stuff in this Carhartt bag. You can see I've kind of outgrown the Carhartt bag. First off, these small pockets. I believe I have one thing in there right now. Let's start off with Kaiser. So Kaiser was kind of the first knife brand I kind of fell into. I've stopped buying Kaiser in general, although this one is fairly new still. This is made with bog oak, 154 cm, which is a fine steel. Liner lock. This is the Subway Bowie. I like this little Bowie shape. It's just cool. I like this knife. It's kind of a dress knife. I actually have not worn it as much as I thought I would, or at all. It's basically new, but I love this shape. What other Kaisers do I have? So if we're just going to go through brand first, let's talk about brand. So I have this Land, which was probably the first knife I bought that was for no other reason than I thought it looked cool. And it's got the Tonto blade. It's a flipper. It's got this frag pattern black handles, liner lock. What's the steel on this? I forget. I don't think it's anything impressive. N690, which is a fine steel. I know a lot of people like to poo-poo it, but as far as a budget steel goes, it's great. Better than D2. And D2 is a great steel. I'm not poo-pooing that. Next we have the Kaiser Feist. This is a Friday club that they have once a month. This is also one of those. In fact, most of my knives from Kaiser are the Friday club ones. I just like them. This is made with the blue micarta. Very nice. I don't like front flippers too much. My thumbs, I'm just not very good at it. I've gotten much better at it recently. I guess it takes practice. This is, again, a very nice one. This is not a liner lock. This is a frame lock. Nice little knife. And then we have the beg letter. This is a mini beg letter, and it's got the fat carbon Arctic or Toxic Storm. Nice blade shape. This is the reverse Tonto. A little dirty out here. I need to clean it. And then we have the, oh gosh, what is this one called? Beg letter. So this isn't a beg letter. What is this? It's the mini something. I can't remember what it is though. So here we have another Friday, fat carbon, red streaks in it, beg letter, button lock. I got this because it was a button lock and I didn't have one at the time. It's a flipper. I have since gotten what is probably the pinnacle of button locks and flippers, and that is the Malibu. That's from ProTech. I'll save that one just for a minute and when I talk about my ProTechs. So this right here are all of my Kaisers. Benchmade. I have two Benchmades. I have the Bug Out, which is the classic. This is the first nice knife I got that was a practical knife, and I upgraded it to titanium scales. Aftermarket. I hardly ever carry this one anymore. It's a great knife. I think someone else should enjoy it, though. I don't know if I'm going to sell that one or not. We have this practically new. I think I have never carried it. It is the Osborne Fat Carbon S90V. It's carried by REI, so I got it from REI with my yearly coupon from them. So, you know, this one, people absolutely love the Osborne. It's a classic design. Yeah. Let's talk about, what do we want to talk about next? We are going to talk about, let's just talk about the banter. I've got this, I gave it to my wife for her purse, for her to open boxes at work and stuff like that. She never used it and she gave it back to me. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Try to give it away, I guess, or sell it. I have a banter of my own. This is Civivi. And then I've got the Space Kitty scales, which I love. I think are cute and funny and hilarious. And it's got the American flag and an astronaut on the other side. I'm a big space geek. And then I've got an Ultim bead on it, which I think is very nice. And I've actually taken the clip off of this. This I carry on my fifth cup pocket when I carry it. I like that. And then I have that was the baby banter. And then I have the full-size banter in 20 CV. This is exclusive. I can't remember from who, made by We. Very nice knife. Pretty much never carry it though. Probably will sell it. What else do we have here? I have then, let's talk about my Spyderco collection real fast. So this is going to get crowded, guys, if I'm going to keep all my blades open. All right. We have the Indela. Very long blade. This was my work knife for a lot of years, but with VG10. And before I became interested in knives, I always carried a Spyderco. It was usually a Tenacious or something cheaper, but it had this either a liner lock or the back lock. This is made out of 20 CV. I got these spider handles for it. I thought this was going to be my work knife, but I honestly don't carry it that much because I have so many other knives that having a practical work knife doesn't even really make sense anymore. This is an Indela, a cross between an Endura and a Delica. I love it. This is definitely my work knife. You can see the blade is pretty dirty right now. 20 CV, deep carry clip, feels really nice. This micarta actually came from a guy in Ukraine who makes them. He's the only guy that I ever found that makes replacement scales for this size. I like it a lot. Next we have the PM2 St. Nick's exclusive red 4V. This I know is very sought after by a lot of collectors. I never carry it. Might need to sell it. One of the reasons why I need to sell it, you'll see later on, is because I've bought some pretty expensive knives, and if I'm not going to be using it, I might as well pass it on to someone who will, and it might be able to fund me getting other things that I'm more interested in at this point in my life. This is M4, another exclusive. I believe this was White Mountain Knives. Fat carbon green scales. I like it. Very photogenic. I've got the compression lock assist here. It's got compression lock, is very cool. Spider flicks open very nicely. I got the black deep carry clip on it. I have the Mannix. This one's totally customized by me. Probably won't sell it just because this thing weighs a lot compared to its length. But I fully customized it. The anodizing I did myself. The backspacer anodization I did myself, which is nice and copper. The clip I did myself as well. This is S30V, which is a fine steel. I got special hardware that matches it. Deep carry clip. Anyway, this is, this also has a lot of grip. It has all these little jimping on here and here and here. This will never slip out of my hands. Even though the scales are smooth, it just locks into my hand. Super easy to use. I love that knife. Speaking of knives I also have this Shaman, which I've gotten recently. Why would anyone need more Spydercos? Well, I apparently do. It's not even my favorite brand, and I own more of them than anyone else for some reason. Shaman is great. Really nice in the hand. This is 204P Carpenter steel. Basically the same thing as 390 or 20 CV, but made by Carpenter. This is made in Golden, Colorado, planet Earth. Compression lock, very nice. Then I have the Oh gosh, let's see if I can get it out. Good strong clip. I've got the Spyderco Schleich Spidey Chef, designed by Schleich, who's famous for the Schleich Bowie, which they don't make. This is LC200N. This is my chef knife when I am sailing. Totally rust resistant. Flicks open with a thumb. You can't do a Spidey flick with it though. This frame lock, great clip. This is the exclusive from, I can't remember who this is. Maybe it's the blue ones came from Way of Knife, EDC Gear House maybe. Very nice. All right, so that's most of my Spydercos. I realized that one of the Spydercos I do not have here is the Jester, which is on my keys. It's a very small little St. Nick's exclusive. I don't have that here. What am I going to talk about next? Oh, right. One more Kaiser I forgot about. We've got the Cormorant. Looks strange. This is the tie-handled version of it. And what is the steel on this? This is some kind of good steel. Can't remember now. I think it's 20 CV at least. Maybe it's M390. M390. I was surprised that I guess I left some apple juice or something on it. Got a little bit of patina on it. But this one is, very fun because you can front flick, thumb flick, you can forward flick, top flick, all the different flicks. Everything flicks on this. I actually cut myself on this one severely. I should have gotten stitches and I did not, which I regretted because it took forever to heal. I dropped this on the heel of my foot. My feet were crossed and I was sitting playing with it and I was learning how to flick it with my finger like this with my pinky while going down, or like this, right? And I let go of it and it just fell right on my heel. Oof, hurt. Lots of blood, let me tell you. Not a good time. It's also a little bit inebriated, which probably did not help my decision making. All right, so we'll put that with the Kaisers. What else are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about these guys. So we've got this exclusive from the Knife Nuts podcast guys, the Real Steel Luna. I was going to play around with dyeing these scales, but I never did. It's a really cheap knife, nice steel, super slicey and sharp. And its walk and talk is great. The walk and talk is, this is, the traditional type folder where it comes open. It's a non-locking knife, right? Very nice. I've only got 2 of those. This was super cheap. I couldn't pass it up. I have my dress rat. So the Ontario Rat number 2 is a very cheap knife and it's considered the best cheap folding knife on the market. And I've dressed it up with the scales from Way of Knife, EDC Gear House. It's the first interaction I ever had with them was getting these. Actually, they sent me the wrong color. I posted a review and I didn't say, and I just said, oh, it doesn't look like the photos. And then they sent this to me in the mail after reading my review. They didn't even contact me. They just sent me a replacement and got the color right. Super nice. I like this black dress version. And you can see I've put like a super silly, thin, slicey blade on this. Or sharp on this with my KME sharpener. Next, we're going to talk about quiet carry. I used to have a quiet carry drift. Now I only have this, which is the quiet carry, blanking on the name. But this is my favorite. This is my favorite water knife. I carry this in my life vest. It's made out of Vanex steel, utterly unrustable titanium scales. I carried this in the ocean for a week. I came back. It had gritted up a little bit halfway through the trip from sand and salt and stuff, and I just sprayed it out with water, and then it kept working. Got home, took it apart, looked inside, not a single piece of rust. Hollow grind. Vanex stays very sharp. I cooked and did everything with this. These were the 2 knives that I took on the trip, and they were amazing. In fact, if you want to learn more about this, go back to some of my earlier videos, and you'll see I did a review about sailing with knives and saltwater, and this features heavily in that. Waypoint. Quiet Carry Waypoint. Forgot the name of it earlier. All right, what else are we going to talk about? Let's talk about Three Rivers. All right. Three Rivers came out with the Neutron. It was very popular. Nick Chabez gave it Knife of the Year. It was very hard, everyone called it unatanium because it was so hard to get these knives. Super slicey. I've got these custom scales on here, which I think are super sexy. Super thin knife steel stock. Very slicey. Kind of a smaller knife. He joked around when he interviewed this, Nick Chavez did, that if they make a bigger version of this, they're going to have to call it that whole atom. He always signs off with a stupid pun. And so he made a joke and he said, if they make a bigger version of this, they're going to have to call it the atom. They did make a bigger version of it. They also have gone crazy with their titanium. Titanium scales are beautiful. So this is a full-size version. Flicks open so nicely. Again, super thin knife steel stock. Comes, when you get the titanium, you get an upgraded clip. The machining on this is incredible. This knife here, so the knife itself is fairly cheap. It's like $190. I think it's a little bit less even than that when naked, in other words, without the scales. These scales come off with just these two screws. You don't need to undo the pivot, so you can change around the scales very easily. It's easy to customize these depending on what your mood is. I don't do that necessarily. I just keep them the way it is. The titanium scales themselves cost about $200. So altogether, this is a little bit less than a $400 knife. But it's super sexy, great action, very slicey, and they're much more available. They're almost always on now. You can find them at the Three Rivers site almost all the time. So it's not unatanium anymore. You can get it. So here's the atom. And then the baby version of this, I have these Python scales. This is called the Nerd, and they just made it the Holy Nerd by putting a hole in here that used to be like a little crevice, I would call it, but they put a hole in here, and this guy is a great fifth pocket carry. They make a full-size version of this. It's more like this size, but with this blade shape and made with an access lock or one of these bug-out locks. I think they call it a river lock on theirs. It's very hard to get because it just kind of came out. So that is unatanium now, but these guys are not. These you can find almost regularly on their website. Great knives. All American made, I should throw in there. This is all made in America. Everything. The steel is 20 CV. The titanium is American. Everything is American. Not that I really care about that. I mean, I like to buy things that are made in America, but I obviously buy things from other countries too. I care more about quality than not, but it's nice to point out sometimes. Tactile Knife Company, Bear. I do not have their version, their Flicker version. I can't remember their Flicker knife, which is more famous for them. Because I think that the Waypoint is nicer version of it, honestly. I think that this looks and handles nicer, and I like the Vanex steel. So I don't think there's any reason to get the Tactile Knife version of this knife. I do, however, like this. I like the walk and talk on this. Non-locking. I've got this brass, which has got a very nice patina on here. This is non-threatening to everyone. I can carry this while I'm dressed up. I'm going anywhere. It hides completely in my pocket. I still have a knife that I can eat my dinner with if I'm at a fancy banquet and no one's going to get scared. I can pull this out in front of the lunch lady from HR. It's all good. What else do we have? All right, so now we're getting to some more of the rare stuff and some of the stuff that I really love. First, let's talk about my Demco knife obsession. I've had maybe 10 Demco knives, and I've given them to friends, and I've sold them. I did a video recently why I explained why this is my favorite knife. So here it is. This is my version of my knife with Lennon Micarta from RGT, I believe is the company's name. Very nice. That's the D2 version. Then I have the 3V version, which the guy from Metal Complex, Matt, I believe is his name, is all over the moon about. And I tell you, it's hard to keep this one out of my pocket. 3V, shark's foot, this textured titanium. This is a $400 knife. I've upgraded it to the Lynch clip deep carry. I just stropped it last night. I didn't really even need it, but I stropped it, and now it's sharper than ever. I mean, it's just gonna slice everything up. Yeah, it's great. So there we go with that. What else we got? Let's try to shift some stuff over. Try to keep everything in frame. All right, so those are 2 of my 3 Demcos. And then I have my special Demco. EDC Gear House has customized a couple of different things for me. I told you about these scales from them. Well, here also is a Demco, and this is the flat titanium. I wanted it sci-fi themed because I'm a big sci-fi fan. They picked Mars Attack. Could have been more specific, but I wasn't. And I'm glad I didn't, because I never would have thought of Mars Attack. But this is super cool. It's got the Ak guy, you know, and they put Ak here. Mars Attack, I wouldn't have put that label of the show on there personally. I love what they did with this clip. That is just beautiful. I might end up taking this clip off, honestly, and putting it on this guy. And, you know, these clips aren't cheap. These clips are each about $35, $40. And I've got one on each one of my Demcos, because that's how much I love Demco. Yeah, so, and the cool thing about these is it comes with a Midtech Gear hardware rather than their base model one, which is much cheaper. This is a $150 knife right here, except for the scales. Comes with just standard hardware. So that's really cool. So yeah, you're paying a lot of money for this, 400 bucks. That's freaking crazy, right? But Midtech Gear hardware, titanium is very hard to machine with this pattern. 3V is a really good, awesome steel. Fits really well in the hand. You can choke up on it. This is just a beautiful knife. It's worth every cent in my opinion. Oh, I skipped over the Open L. Yeah, I've got a little knife for my daughter. This is her camping knife. I let her go out there. It doesn't have a point. This is dull, but it has something here so she can shave wood if she wants to or play around. It has a nice, easy lock, although for her little fingers, it doesn't actually work. I might end up giving this baby Banter, which my wife no longer carries, and giving it to her, although it does have a point, and I might wait another year or two until she's a little bit older. She's a little bit of a klutz. Don't tell her I said that. I have this Nimble. So this was pre-order, long wait. The Nimble liner lock with the Topo fat carbon. Very nice. I believe it's M390. This is one of those flick toys. You can flick it all different kinds of ways, kind of like the Cormorant. How do you pronounce that, guys? What else do I have? And then I've got my favorite company, perhaps, and I've only got 3 knives from them, and that is ProTech. So from ProTech, I forgot to leave this open. From ProTech, I have 3 knives. I have the SBR. This is the automatic side. Ooh, yeah, very nice. This is Ultim Scale. I love that Ultim Scale. Flicks open hard. Oof, very nice. I just love ProTech, all American made. That's S35V. The Malibu, this is a Grail knife. I just randomly was able to get it. I was actually on vacation in Europe. It came up, I bought it while I was at lunch without my wife knowing. Expensive knife, love it. Flipper, ultimate button lock. And the action, so, you know, I got this beg letter because I wanted an example of a button lock. And this action on this is okay. It feels like the detent's a little weak, but honestly, it's fine, right? And the sound it makes, it runs on bearings, right? I haven't opened up this. I can't remember if this runs on bearings or phosphor bronze. The Malibu. Oh man, the sound it makes, the click, the detent. Reverse Tonto, blacked out, textured aluminum, not titanium. And this is 20 CV. This is just a great knife. Again, it's very hard to keep this out of my pocket. So those are 2 of the ProTechs I have. And then I've got this guy, which I also got customized from EDC Gear House, Way of Knife. This is probably their most famous, best designed knife. TR3 tactical knife. MagnaCut, and they put scales on it, the guys at EDC Gear House. I like this. It's not over the top. I worry this will scratch off, but I then again, I live in a state can't even carry an automatic. So this is basically a knife I carry around the house or when I go on vacation to a state where I am allowed to carry it. The thump on this opening, phew, I mean, it's there. They also took off the black off of the clip. I just like this a lot. I like this knife a lot. So that is my ProTechs. And I think I've got only one more knife, and that is a knife that is very sought after, very expensive, and awesome, and that is the Riot Exo gravity knife or paratrooper knife. I've done a review of this, so check it out if you want to. Fat carbon inlay, red lava, Tonto. The gravity knife works so that when you lift this up, it slides back, and now won't go out, right? And as soon as I open it up and give it a little flick, it comes out. So out the front, gravity knife, paratrooper knife. Very fun to play with. It's hard to do with a camera right there. But yeah, check out my clips on Instagram and stuff where I play with it. This is a freaking awesome, cool knife. All right, I would say that that is at least 95% of my folding knives. It does not include my fixed blade knives, which I have a lot of, and I posted I'm about to post, or I have posted a video when you've seen this. This is one knife that I haven't ever talked about or shown. It is my grandfather's knife from World War II. It is a Bowie knife. I haven't really gotten it fully restored yet. It does have a chip or a break on one of the handles, which is a shame. Full tang though. This guy's a beast. Still have its original sheath as well. But that is basically my collection. So I'm probably going to post most of this on eBay. You're not expected. This isn't an ad at all. If for some reason you see something that you really want and you'd like to get it from me, let me know. Ooh, one more knife. Found another one. Boker Kalashnikov. This was my first automatic. We'll put that right there. Very cheap knife. Boker has a lot of cheap knives, but this is very, very well done. Cool. Thanks, guys. Wow, look at all those knives. How many do I have on the table here? Let's count real fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So I have 35 knives on the table. I know I've sold at least 30 knives on eBay because I'll buy them and then I'll sell them. I haven't sold anything recently. So I've probably gone through at least 60 knives. And if you include my fixed blades, I've probably gone through 80 knives since I started this in a year. And this is what's on the table right now. So I will give another review of the knives that I carry, maybe in another 6 months to a year. And we'll see what's changed, what's still on the table, and what's new. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me at Sharp Ends. I appreciate your support a lot. And as always, if you like this, give me a like or a subscribe, and have a good one. Bye now.